Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding where the Heritage Preservation Board acts in a quasi-judicial rather than a legislative capacity. At a quasi-judicial hearing, it is not the board's function to make law, but rather to apply law that has already been established. In a quasi-judicial hearing, the board is required by law to make findings of fact based upon evidence presented at the hearing and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the Code of Ordinances in order to make a legal decision regarding the application before it. The board may only consider evidence at this hearing that the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. If the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has met the criteria established in the Code of Ordinances, then the board is required by law to find in favor of the applicant. By the same token, if the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has failed to meet the criteria established in the Code of Ordinances, then the board is required by law to find against the applicant. With that being said, I need everyone to stand up, raise their right hand that's going to speak tonight, and be sworn under oath. Anyone that's going to speak tonight.
Be any applicant, anybody who wants to speak for or against.
You swear that the testimony you're going to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that there are no conflicts of interest, and if there is any need to disclose ex parte communications, now would be the time to do that on behalf of the board. Any conflicts or ex parte communications? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Although we do operate somewhat formally by the rules that you've heard Mr. Trask speak, we do want to let people speak for whatever length of time they need to present their case. We do not have a time limit, but we do require that you come to the podium and give your name and address for the record so that we can capture it all on tape. Our goal for the process today in the meeting is that we're transparent and fair and let everyone speak that wishes to be involved in the process. Our first application tonight is application 18-94. The address is 105 Banana Street. It's for a new roof on a contributing structure, and it was continued from last month. Ms. McNeese?
Okay, this is a request for a certificate of approval to replace an existing composition shingle roof with a metal roof. At 105 Banana Street, this is a Craftsman wood frame structure, and it's proposed with a metal unpainted mill finish roof. The structure has a gable roof with some architectural details. The shape of the roof and the details will not be disturbed by the new metal roof. There are metal roofs in the area directly across the street at 106 Banana Street and around the corner at 49 West Boyer. This application had postcards go out and staff did not receive any responses. Staff recommends approval of the application, and the applicant is here with a sample. Are there any questions?
Questions from the staff before we open it up to public hearing? Okay, we'll open up the public hearing. The applicant wish to come forward, please.
My name's Sean Drake with Aries Roofing, 401 East Spruce Street. Proposing to put on a 5E crimp stealth bond metal roof at the location on Banana Street. Any questions of what type of system that is from you guys?
I think one of our questions from last month was for you to have the sample of the roof, which seems like you have right there for us to take a look at.
Sure. Do you want to pass it this way?
Sure. You can just bring it in front of us.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold it, obviously.
Okay, yeah, I got gloves for you.
Yeah, we'll let you do the hard work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So let the record reflect that the applicant did bring a sample of the roofing material and displayed it to the board. Any questions? Had one question or comment, or did you have something else?
She had a question down there. No? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
The staff report says, and the application says, that there's no changes to the roof. You're not taking out any of the other defining features of the roof, the overhang, the supports, anything like that. So I just want you to confirm that that's correct on the record. The only thing you're doing is replacing the material of the roof itself.
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you so much. We're gonna see if there's anyone in the audience that wishes to speak, and then the board will take it up. So, is there anybody that'd like to speak on this application for 105 Banana Street for the re-roof? Okay, seeing no one rise, it's back to the board for a motion. Well, discussion as well, if there is any discussion.
No discussion. I move that the application for 105 Banana Street be approved as submitted.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Cornell seconded it. Any further discussion? Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve the application as submitted. Any further discussion? If not, we'll do roll call vote, please.
Ms. Cornell,
Approve.
Miss Milford,
Approve.
Miss Page,
Yes.
Mrs. Terrapini.
Yes, so the motion is approved 4-0. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, our second application tonight is case 18-2121, that's 18-121, 455 East Tarpon Avenue. It's a contributing structure, a major improvement addition to the back and side of a single-family home. Ms. McNeese, would you like to explain this case to us, please?
Yes, this is a proposal for renovation of an addition to what is or was a one-story porch on the back of this structure at 455 East Tarpon Street. This is a masonry vernacular contributing structure. A little bit of history on this. This porch had a building permit application on it. That was never pulled. Some work was started, but a building permit was never issued for this. It was closed out. This property is in code enforcement proceedings with the city, and of course the applicant was required to come in and apply for building permits, required Heritage Preservation Board approvals, and so on. The applicant did apply. Planning did accept the application. It was complete, but it was not sufficient with materials. We did send out postcards. Basically, I sent out postcards before I realized that. But I was working with the applicant, or attempting to work with the applicant, under the assumption that the applicant would be motivated to provide the sufficient materials in advance of further code board proceedings. We did not receive that. So what I've provided here is a staff report that does review what was submitted. There was a plan set submitted. Point out where the insufficiencies are. This is a project overall, without going through all this detail, unless you want to, that I feel could be presented as a project that you could look favorably on, but it's just not there yet. So I put in basically a recommendation that staff cannot recommend approval at this time, even with conditions. The conditions would obviously just be really too much. They'd be items that should be in the application. Postcards were sent out. There was no response. You can ask. I don't know if the applicant is in the audience tonight. I didn't get an indication that the applicant would be here, but you can ask that as well. So if we'd like to get into further detail on the review, I'm prepared to do that.
Let's see what the comments and questions are. Well, first of all, is the applicant here, or his representative by any chance, his or her? Okay. Let the record reflect the applicant is not here, or no representative. I had a couple of questions, and then I'll go to the rest of the board. So just to clarify, Ms. McNeese, when the applicant started, apparently they started work without a permit. They were stopped work ordered at some point, yes, by the building department. Were they advised that not only was a building permit required, but the HPB review was required?
Yes, the building permit application did go through a review by the departments, or at least some of the departments, including building and planning. Comments were provided to the applicant, but the applicant,
Submitted for a permit, he just didn't respond to the comments for the building department and, well, he did submit for HPB, but he didn't respond to the building department comment?
he never, the applicant did not submit an HPB application. The applicant was advised that one would be needed, but one was never received.
So you're saying that the applicant started work prior to having a permit to do so?
That's correct.
So I guess I'm concerned about a couple of things. I don't think we have ever looked at a site plan for an addition without seeing a site plan. I mean, we've never seen an application that didn't have a site plan, which this does not have. So we can't really tell where in space this addition is going, although one could guess it's to the rear based on the application, but you really can't tell. You don't see the rest of the floor plan of the house, so that's confusing as well. Personally, I'm concerned about a couple of the material choices that they've made. For example, hardy board, a wood material on a house that's all brick, seems to be inconsistent. And a sliding glass door on the rear of the house is a modern opening, not historic opening. So those are just some quick thoughts. I tend to agree with the staff that it's really difficult to make a judgment, and I don't want to deny them. I'd like to give them the opportunity to supplement their application, but I would like to hear what the rest of the board would like.
I don't think there's much to consider since it's so incomplete.
I agree.
There's nothing here for us to discuss because it's just a very incomplete process.
Went by, and in this photo here, you really can't see what's really going on in this one because it's not a good side view.
Doesn't show the side.
Yeah, and I would have liked to have seen that, and you really can't tell what they've done under all of that. How many windows did they tear out? What has been done? I can't really see anything in this. Even when you drive by, you can't tell.
So the other, I think what I'm hearing you say is in addition to the plan supplement, you'd like to see
I want to see more
a
photos.
list
I
or
want to know,
discussion of what work they have actually done. What did they
Yes.
actually do to the house? What
and I want to know, was that done before the permitting?
sounds
Or-
like it was, but okay. So I guess that's kind of consensus of the board, but we need to take a formal action. But it sounds like we would agree with the staff that it needs to be application needs to be complete with the plans, needs to show a site plan for sure, needs to show the rest of the elevation, needs to have a description of what was done to the building, to the historic aspects of the building without the permits. We can judge that. If they have photographs before they did the work, that would also be helpful.
And is it a contractor doing this, or are they doing it themselves?
I don't know the answer to that. Ms. McNeese, do you have any idea?
Apparently there was I don't know the exact facts, but apparently there was someone hired to do the work.
Were they
But
licensed?
that person is no longer apparently under the applicant's employ. The only person that I've talked with that the applicant has engaged is the architect that drew the plans that
And
you
was
have
that
before
person
you.
prior a licensed contractor, or just?
Well, certainly for any building permit work, yes. The applicant would need a licensed contractor, especially for something of this scale.
Before we take any action, I want to open it to the public. If anybody that is here would like to come and speak to this item, we welcome you to come up and come to the podium and give me your name and address. No good shows on TV tonight, everybody coming out to this show instead? Well, we're glad you're here. Thank you. All right, then it's back to the board. Is there a motion? Let me ask before I do the motion, do you prefer us to continue it for 1 month or to continue indefinitely, let the applicant resubmit and then determine when what right hearing date is? What's your preference, Ms. Whitney?
I don't know that I have a preference. I feel that the applicant can respond within 1 month. It will be, I just feel it's in the applicant's best interest, given the code case, to respond. I believe I have not spoken or emailed with the applicant. I've not had any responses from the applicant. The architect that drew these plans, I have spoken with in person. I can tell you that he told me he is confident he can submit the plans. Now, he is not the authorized agent, so that's not speaking for the applicant. That's just an architect who drew plans telling me that he can submit the materials. So I feel like if the applicant's not here, I don't know. It's up to you how much time you would want to give the applicant.
Well, we can
but
do it for 1 month, and then if for some reason they can't submit in time, then we can always agree with it. But I'd always like to give them the benefit of the doubt. Is there a motion, please?
I move that application 18121 at 455 East Tarpon be continued for 1 month until additional information is received from the applicant.
Okay, is there a second, please?
A second.
I would just want to jump in here that you would
Second,
want to make
yeah.
sure that you would want it wouldn't be necessarily 1 month. You would want it to come to your next meeting, so that there's no misunderstanding as to it coming next month or the following month.
Will you
So-
repeat that, because I'm hard of hearing?
Okay, what my suggestion is that you do it to a date certain. So if you know the next, when your next meeting is, when is that, Pat?
December 3rd.
Okay, so my suggestion is that your motion would be a motion to continue until December 3rd, if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
Will you amend your motion?
A
Yes.
second that.
And you were the,
Second.
Milford. Any further discussion about this motion?
No.
And does the board agree that Ms. McNeese should share our comments and concerns about the items that were incomplete?
Yes.
Yes, I'll do that. Thanks.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Miss Cornell,
Yes.
Miss Milford,
Yes.
Miss Page,
Yes.
Mrs. Terrapini.
Yes. All right, the motion is approved 4-0 to continue to our next month meeting on December 3rd. Our next item of business is any staff comments,
No comments. Thanks.
board comments?
No comment.
I had just one comment, Ms. McNeese. I may have received an updated board list, but the last one I have is dated May 2018, and it still has Mr. Bolton. It does not have Ms. Cornell or Ms. Milford. Could you see if we can get the clerk to send us a new one in our packet?
Certainly.
That would be great. Any other comment? All right, our next meeting is December 3. Everyone planning to be here?
Yes.
December 3rd. All right. I think that's everything we have to come before us tonight. We will adjourn. I can't read that clock. It's 6:50 p. 6:50 p.m. We adjourn our meeting.